Hello and welcome to my little corner of the internet. After releasing 2 games across all major platforms, I'm now turning into my next phase on my game development voyage. And this includes building a couple of quick game prototypes which will help me to figure out which project I should move forward with. And so my first idea is a really interesting combination of chess and deck building and naval combat. And I'm going to be making 3 or 4 of these prototypes, and I really want to hear your feedback for each one in the comments. Let me know if 1, you think the idea is interesting, and 2, if you think it's commercially viable. And whichever game gets the most feedback is the one that I will be moving forward with. So, I won't waste any time, let's jump into what this game is all about, and I'll show you how I developed this simple demo in just a couple of days. So this idea came to me the way that most of my great ideas do, in the shower. And the basic premise of the game is similar to ordinary chess. I want the player to be faced with a playing board, which meant creating a grid with a coordinate system that will allow pieces to move around it. And that's easy enough, I just threw together some line renderers and there we go. And because I can't stand looking at an ugly gray background, I decided to throw in some rocks, some water, and some ship models. And already we're looking pretty good. Okay, next came the interesting bit, adding cards to the game. Because yes, this is a deck builder. So the idea is that the player will draw a few cards each turn, and each of these individual cards represents a specific chess piece. And the player can use these cards to move their ships around the board according to which chess piece they select. For instance, a pawn card allows movement 1 space in any cardinal direction, and a bishop allows for any number of spaces moved diagonally. But even in this simple functionality, I had to answer a lot of questions. Questions like, how do I communicate with the player what the cards are meant to do? And how can I show which tile spaces are able to be moved to when a particular card is selected? So I came up with a tile highlighting system that does the job okay. Simply select the card you want to play, then select the ship you want to apply it to, and you can see which spots are available to move to. And of course, the full version of this game would include different environmental obstacles and arrangements that restrict movement in different unique ways. So I added some rocks to this demo map and added obstacles into my calculations for which coordinates are open to move to, so that you can't land on a rock. The one caveat to this, however, is that I still allow a ship to jump over a rock if it's using a knight movement. Now I don't know if this makes sense or not, but in classic chess you're able to leap over other chess pieces, so I decided to do the same for now here. And there's a lot more polish and functionality I would want to bring to the cards component of the game, but this is a fast and dirty proof of concept demo, so I think it's good enough for now. Remember my motto from a previous video? If it ain't broken, then there's no need to be overcomplicated with things that run just as good as they are. TM. Okay, next I implemented ship-to-ship combat. Now my initial idea for this was to have each ship have a distinct attack pattern, and whenever a player ends their turn, the ships would attack according to their own unique attack pattern. However, I don't necessarily like this implementation very much. After playing around with the build a bit, I realized that the card mechanic was too simplistic and boring. If cards are only meant for movement, then I felt like we were missing an opportunity here. So I decided to switch things up, and instead of each ship having a unique attack pattern, I implemented attack cards that you can play from your hand. Now these cards are colored red, and they work similarly to the movement cards. However, when the attack cards are played, the selected ship prepares to shoot out numerous cannonballs in accordance with the pattern defined on the card. And of course I had to show where those hit locations would be, so those are highlighted in red. And then I added some code that moved the cannonball in an arc towards the destination tile. Now one cool thing about this setup is that if you commit a particular attack card to a particular ship, the card is used and destroyed, but the attack preview areas remain. So you could load up one ship with a plethora of attack cards and send them into the midst of a congested area. Then, when the player ends their turn, each ship with prepared attacks will each shoot out cannonballs in turn. Now this was all working well and good, so then I turned to the ships themselves and started to think about how I wanted them to take damage and show their health. But then I realized I had just written that exact code in my other project. So spoiler alert for one of my other game prototypes that I'm going to be covering in the future, but not really a spoiler because it's the game that I was initially intending to create anyways, and I've already made multiple devlogs about it, but there you go. But anyway, in my Island War Tactics prototype, I recently implemented combat, and it's looking really good. We got archers and swordsmen and movement, and the attacks are working, but the most important thing that I care about right now is this, the health bar. You see, I'm a smart cookie. And I wrote this health component with a damageable component and a distinct UI so that it was very easy for me to just yoink this right from this project and bring it into my ship chess game. Now I know you probably want to hear more about this other island combat game, or maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not a mind reader, but it's not ready yet, and that's going to be a separate video. For now, let's concentrate on ship combat. So, I stole my own code, and now it's super easy to damage these ships and display how much health they have. And as far as the enemy AI goes, it's super basic right now. All it does is pick random movement and random attack cards to play each turn. They end up hurting their teammates just as much as their opponents. So obviously there's a ton more work to be done with this game. I started implementing card rarity and the likelihood of drawing particular cards. We'll obviously need more levels, a more robust art direction, etc., etc. But I wanted to test the waters and see if there's any public interest before I invest more time into this game. But now that I think about it, I've already done like 90% of the hard work, which is coming up with a title. I mean, checkmatey? Come on. It's the perfect combination between chess and pirates. Come on, checkmatey. Come on. Come on. Come on. I think it's a great name, but you let me know if you can think of something better. So this took me about 12 to 18 hours to whip up, so it's very bare bones. There's only one level in the demo right now, but it is a demo and it's completely playable, and I'm going to add the link to the itch page below and you can just load it up in your browser and give it a shot. And it would mean a lot to me if you would give me your authentic feedback, either here in the comments or over on my Discord channel. So that is game prototype number 1. Thank you all so much for helping me in my game development journey, and I will see you all real soon in the next one.